Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Brad and I are finishing our top 100 games of all time in 2021. This is it. This is the one that everyone actually cares about, because I don't know why. It's, I guess, because there's 10, and it's like, oh, out of all the games, these are the 10 you'd pick. Sure. So this is an exciting one. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so 5 rows, 4 fell, and 1 is brand new.
I have 5 rows, 2 fell, two stayed identical, and then I had 1 new one.
1 new one. Okay. All right. Good deal. So, yeah, I'm excited to, of course, talk about this list. So let's go ahead and get started with my number 10, which fell, but it didn't fall that much. Last year it was number 7, and the year before that it was number 6. And what's very interesting about the fact that it fell is I did play it last year, or in 2021, so typically if that's the case it rises, but this one didn't. But this is a beautifully done game that's actually now more depressing to actually talk about because of current situations and what's happening in the current state of the world. It's not super fun to bring up, but it is a fun game to play if you can disassociate from the actual theme, and that is This War of Mine.
Yeah.
So This War of Mine is a game where you play as the refugees in a war-torn city trying to survive. I know I think it's based off of an actual siege, but I don't think it's ever explicitly stated in the game. Like, I think it's just war in general. Right. What's cool about this is that you, as players, control the group of survivors. You don't control individual groups. You make decisions as a unit. So it's like, okay, everyone decides what, Anton is going to do, which is nothing because he does nothing. And you decide what Bruno is going to do. Oh, okay, he's going to go and cook. And then they have a certain number of actions depending on their, state of well-being. If they're wickedly injured, they actually don't do anything. Every one of them gets 3 actions, but certain status effects cause them to have less actions that they can do. So this game is brutally hard. You have so much against you the entire time, and very, very light rays of hope or rays of sunshine actually peek through the clouds. It's done beautifully. It touches on the subject matter very well. I understand why people wouldn't want to play stuff like this, because it is a very grim theme, but I enjoy it quite a bit. So that is number 10, This War of Mine.
That's a good choice. All right, my number 10 is my one this is my big jump. It was number 48 last year, because it was new to my list last year. Jumped all the way up to number 10. I know you like this game as well, and I'm sure it's probably even going to go possibly higher, or at least stay the same once I play the new expansion that came out, and that is Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Nice.
Have
you played the expansion?
I have not yet.
Okay.
I have it. I just haven't had a chance to get it played. But this game last year, jumped in at 48 as a brand new game. And then I've played it multiple times since then. Love it. People compare this with Dune Imperium all the time. This one is by far the superior game, in my opinion.
I also agree.
Yeah, and even I can understand. I see where they're, saying that, because it has the light deck building and worker placement kind of stuff. But this one, the theme of this one just works so much better. The cards just, I think one of the coolest things about this game is, you're kind of engine building without engine building. You're building up these massive turns where you're trying to make the most of your explorer meeples. And then I also like as the game goes, the turn order, that little staff moves. So there's it starts out with less artifacts and more general cards, and as the game
Yeah.
moves, it becomes more, so it's just like these two, this Min and Elwyn, that created this game. They this one just kind of came out of nowhere, and then of course it's a CGE game,
Yeah.
and they're more times than not going to be a solid experience. I know I'm going to like the expansion when I get it, just because the asymmetric power or asymmetric setup and all that stuff. They also have done a good job with the solo stuff that they put on their website, or print and play stuff as well. It's just one of those that kind of took off, and I can't wait to see what else they add to it down the road.
Yeah.
The big thing with this was the research track seemed to be kind of the one way, and I think that's what I'm excited about with the expansions. Kind of gives different options on that front.
Yeah. It gives you 4 tracks total now to pick from instead of just the 2. And then of course more cards and stuff. But yeah, it was the tracks and then the individual player powers, which are really fun. I think all of them are good except the most difficult one. The most difficult one I can't figure out how he's helpful to play in any way. So I don't know, maybe I just don't get him. But yeah, it's a really good expansion. This is a great game.
Alrighty.
All right, my number 9. This one did rise. It was number 18 last year and number 27 in 2019. And I can't really tell you why it rose. I haven't played this in a while, actually. I want to say maybe about a year and a half. But I think just my love for this genre has, maybe I'm just more reminded, or whenever I was making this top 100, I was like just really in the mood for always picking this over other games, and this is just where it landed. And this is the penultimate Cthulhu game, I think, and that is Eldritch Horror. So Eldritch Horror effectively killed Arkham Horror, like 2nd edition, and then Arkham Horror 3rd edition just didn't stand a chance in any way. But this is your grandiose Cthulhu game where they streamlined Arkham Horror, and they're like, we're going to keep it small. And then, of course, it blew up into something much more. However, I still do think that they kept it more condensed, because in this one, if you're wanting to add expansions, you willingly can just pick them. However, they have these prelude cards that you can shuffle and pick one. If that one tells you to include a certain board or a certain aspect, that's when you have it in your game. So there's a lot of variety in setup. This is your global conflict. Instead of it being just in one town, it's the entire world. So different creatures and stuff are affecting various regions. But then there's the great old one that is affecting the entire planet. I love this game. I think that if you are wanting to delve into the Cthulhu mythos, then this is going to be the game that's going to give it to you, because there's a lot of text, lots of events, and it just feels very epic. Like everyone feels important. Everyone has their own special abilities, and then they get all these really cool items and followers and enhancements that everyone's doing something that is going to be beneficial. Now, some people might have a little bit more luck go their way than others, but still, you are part of a team, and it's like, okay, well, you're only as strong because I'm the one doing all of this. Like, it just feels very awesome. My favorite thing is about Cthulhu like stuff has always been the fact that it's been regular people that are doing it. Like, these aren't like enhanced super soldiers or gods or anything. It's like, hey, that was a waitress who got sucked into this weird lore. That's just something I've always enjoyed about it. So Eldritch Horror is one that I've actually thought about just bringing to the table again, because I'm like, man, I really could go for a fully cooperative like romp through the lore.
Well, you need to make that, because I've never played it and I've wanted to try this one. So maybe that's how we could get it. You could get it to the table.
Perfect. Perfect. I thought you had played this.
No, I've owned it once or twice and just never played it.
Gotcha. Yeah, this one's fantastic. So it's weird how it was in my top 10 in 2018 and 2017, but then it's always been kind of top. Actually, 2019 it weirdly fell out, so I don't know. It just fluctuates depending on certain circumstances. But here we are at number 9, and I love it. I am curious if Fantasy Flight is going to do a 3rd edition Eldritch Horror.
God only
I hope.
Yeah,
Like, I hope.
You can't guess with them anymore.
I know. I hope not. Like, I think this is still really good. Like the jump from 2nd edition Arkham Horror to 3rd, it was just so drastically different. It's like you could have just streamlined 2nd edition. You didn't have to fuck it up.
Yeah.
So I hope they just leave it alone. But yeah, that's my number 9.
All right. Well, my number 9 is a game that it rose from 11. So, but the year before that it was 6. So went 6, 11, 9. So it's just kind of right around that area. This is my favorite Viking game. It's also my favorite Garfield game, and that is Raiders of the North Sea. This was the first of Shem Phillips games I played, and then to this day it's still my favorite.
Is this his first one?
No, this was the 3rd. Maybe this was the first one. I can't remember which one of that series, because there was Raiders of the North Sea, Explorers of the North Sea, and Shipwrights. I can't remember what order.
Pretty sure this is before them,
because I played this once all 3 of them were out. Like I didn't play this when it first came out, so I'm not sure the release order. But anyway, this one is the one I'd played a lot of worker placement games up to this one, but this one was the first one I'd played that had that unique where you place one and pick one up, so you're actually getting 2 actions per turn instead of 1.
Real quick, Shipwrights came out in 2014, and this one was 2015.
Oh, so this was the middle one. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So that unique worker placement, and then you are also recruiting things. I guess back on the work placement stuff real quick, the colors of the meeples too. There's 3 different colored meeples, so certain spots require certain colors too, so it adds that little bit. There's that play also that you don't want to necessarily leave a spot for somebody as well. You kind of have to game the other players just when they're picking one up and dropping one off and stuff. But you get your crew built, and the whole point of the game is you're kind of ramping up your crew to go raiding across the waterway. And you start off with the easier ones to take, and you go up all the way up until you get to the big can't remember what they're even called, the big like towns and stuff. But
yeah,
and at the beginning of the game during setup, you're setting them up by just randomly pulling out these different meeples and putting them in those places. So there could be different resources. There could be Valkyrie tokens. If you ever defeat a place with a Valkyrie token, you have to kill off a member of your crew for each Valkyrie token that's up there. But then you also go up on the Valkyrie track, which also gives you victory points. So there's just a lot of neat stuff with this. And then the solo expansion that they created, this was the one that they created that for, that didn't come in box. After this, all of them started coming in box with the West King series and all that. But this one you had to buy from overseas at the time, and it was just a little pack of cards that played the Automa stuff, and it's really well done. This is just an awesome game, and the 2 expansions, the Fields of Fame and Hall of Heroes, they just add more to it. Has awesome art. That's the polarizing part of it. Whether some people hate it, some people like it. I like it, but
everyone I know loves it. So I'm the only one.
So I can see how it's not. I mean, it's just like any art. It's people are gonna love it or hate it. But anyway, that's my number 9. And I don't see this one really going anywhere. It's my favorite of the series.
Good deal. Have you played? I can't remember if you've played Paladins or Viscounts.
I have not played Viscounts. I've played all of them up to that.
Gotcha. Was Paladins on your list?
Not yet. I've only played it one time, so I need to play it more. It probably will be in my top 100 if I get it to the table more.
Okay.
I can definitely see how it's better than West Kingdom.
Yeah, or
The
architects.
architects, yeah, sorry.
Gotcha. Alrighty. My number 8 was number 11 last year. So last year it just didn't quite make it. And then 2019, it was number 16. And this game has just gotten better over time, especially because it's consistently supported, like with massive expansions. Like, I mean, every single expansion has pretty much been a big box. Still waiting on the biggest of all boxes of this game to come out. And then this game could probably even be higher if I decide to separate them. But this is my favorite deck builder. This was the one that even got me into deck building because I used to hate it. And it's just such a fun challenge that makes this, and the fact that it's cooperative also goes a long way. And that is Aeons End. So Aeons End is a phenomenal deck builder. A lot of people are kind of like, oh, it feels like a chore to play. And then I don't get that kind of statement. I think that I guess those people just, I guess, aren't really feeling a challenge. They just kind of want to play a deck builder where there's no thought behind it. So I guess go play Transformers.
With your statement there about the chore deal, I think the people that say that, the chore of this game is what actually makes the theme. I mean, yeah, it's going to add on, but that it is the chore because they've infused all that theme into it, and I think that's why people they just want to buy stuff, put it in the discard pile, buy stuff, put it in the discard pile.
Exactly. You know? That's, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you just want to play, I mean, go play Dominion. If you just kind of want to draw a hand and just throw it on the table and be like, okay, here's what I can barely do anything. Aeon's End does have actual thought behind every single decision you make, and the decisions you make can come back to bite you if you build your deck improperly. These nameless that you fight, every single one of them is brutal. Like they're hard to beat in various ways. Like just the I mean, if you have everything besides Legacy of Gravehold, you have like what, 30 nameless, something like that. I mean, Legacy, while the story is fucking lame as hell, it sucks. The nameless that you fight are still really cool. I mean, there's some, I mean, like the first one, I mean, I'm not gonna really spoil it, but it's a tutorial boss. It's scripted for you to win, but then it's still neat just from a kind of atmospheric perspective. This guy who's on the cover, I don't remember what he's called. Rageborn.
Yeah.
Okay. Even he's cool. And this version itself looked like clip art. And it's like, oh man, like Jesus Christ. Did they like have no money to make this game? But even then the gameplay was still so good you overlooked all that. I just love the no shuffling aspect of, you know, how you buy things and in what order you buy them goes into your discard pile, and then whenever you have to reshuffle, you just flip it. So you have an engine going, and the full cooperation between everyone, every single player is important. No one player is going to like steamroll the boss. It's just not going to happen. And there's just so much for this. I can't wait for Legacy of Gravehold, just to see what that brings. Hopefully its story is actually good.
I think it will be.
It looks like they learned. Like they definitely cashed in for the Legacy. And you could tell because they're like, hey, you can add your pre-built, characters into Aeons End content. But if you do, it's easier. It's like, okay, so you then balance it. Like you just don't make it be like its own thing. Then don't make me weirdly change rules to fit in my shitty character that I made. So yeah, I'm excited for Legacy of Gravehold, but this is easily my favorite deck builder. And we'll see where it goes from here. But yeah, that's my number 8, Aeon's End.
Have you gotten yours yet?
Nope. Nope.
Right.
They hate me. So
mine's just sitting down here,
Right. And I did look it up. Like I looked up like if I forgot to pay for it or something, because I didn't get my Dinosaur World stuff. And I was like, where the fuck is it? So I messaged them and they're like, yeah, you never finished your play. I had everything. Like I just didn't click like submit to pay for it. And they're like, yeah, you can just pay for it after shipping's done. And I'm like, oh, okay, sweet. But no, I paid for this one, and
Interesting.
I don't know. It is what it is. Like, I'll get it eventually. So,
All right. Well, my number 8 has been on my list for as long as I've owned the game. I mean, this is one of my favorite in this type of game. It stayed the same this year. It was 7 2 years ago, 8 last year, 8 this year.
okay.
It had a big box. It's not really an expansion. It's a continuation of this game. Dice placement. And it is
Nice.
this one will, the adventures came out, but I'm going to keep them separate. I mean, obviously, because I play this just by itself a lot of times.
Yeah.
Because it can play super, super easily solo. Like, I mean, you just throw it down and go for it. It has awesome solo rules. I would say it's up here because of the expansions, though. I mean, like, if it was just base game, it would be quite a bit lower.
Yeah.
The monsters and minions, especially. But just the creation of a character like this, you can make him as oddball as you want by what card you purchase, or I like the puzzle of placing the dice, trying to figure out that number for the column. You're also the color of the dice, messing with your whether you're good or evil and all that stuff too. There's just a lot of neat stuff put in with this game. And they did a superior job of expanding upon this base game with the expansions. And then they're like, when they came up with that crazy idea of making adventures, that just solidified this entire IP that they created, because now you can just build your character, put them right into that game, and go on an adventure, and it's
because they have the character sheet. So if you just play a random game and you're like, oh, I like this character, you can write it out and save it for when you do play adventures.
Yes, I mean, like, and we've talked about this before, even on earlier on this list, that I think they're done with this game, but I would hope and I assume that their plan will be to just add more stories to Roleplayer Adventures.
Yeah, I'd hope so. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the way to go. I mean, hell, you don't really have to come up with it. I mean, you have to come up with content, but as far as the base is there, you're just going to be adding on to story and stuff like that. But
yeah, what I would want, because Roleplayer Adventures, it does have an overarching story, but it is still, from a fantasy perspective, very basic. Oh, we're part of the King's Guard, and we make good or bad decisions. I'm hoping that as they get more experience, that maybe they do more, I don't know, ambiguous decisions, like where it's not so black and white or clear cut. And because every single session is a different book, and it feels like you could just jump into book 6 and play book 6. You obviously can't, because there are decisions you make that do affect the story later on. But I don't know. I would have liked a more, hey, here's your massive book, like Midara or Gloomhaven, where you can just you're not. It doesn't feel so sectioned off. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see what they decide to do. Or maybe Adventures was it. Who knows?
I bet they go, because it was pretty damn successful. So I would say they're going to keep moving on with it. But yeah, so my number 8's Roleplayer, and I don't see it really moving anywhere anytime soon.
Let's see. Hold on. Roleplayer Adventures made.
Wasn't it around?
Not much, actually, in comparison to a lot of other Kickstarters. It made 670,000.
That's a lot for a game that really doesn't have a lot of plastic, though. I mean,
true. It is literally cards. Yeah, you're right. There's actually one piece of plastic. It is the team thing. Yeah, you're right. So that must have, and I mean, their turnaround time. This Thunderworks Games has a pretty good turnaround time for their.
They don't have any plastic. It's all just card shit, so they don't have to worry about molds.
Cards and paper. Yeah. I mean, well, no, they have plastic for the XP and the like
Right.
the dice.
As far
but
as like the highly detailed like miniatures and shit, you don't have to worry about that stuff.
yeah, you're right. That's a good point. All right, my number 7 is a game that I'm pretty sure you haven't played, but I believe you're intrigued. It was number 10 last year, so it
Don't tell me.
rose. Huh?
I said, don't tell me what intrigues me.
Well, we'll see. Maybe not. It was number 10 last year and number 7 in 2019. So it's kind of really just staying in the same spot. This one went up because it has a shit ton more content, and it is where the rulebook isn't amazing and there's a lot of context. This is basically Wiz War on crack, and that is Black Rose Wars, which are actually going on Kickstarter. I think it's Kickstarter or GameFound for, I think it's called Rebirth.
It already has. They've I already have pledged for it, and the backer kits already went out.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, that ended like several months ago.
Gotcha. Whoops. Maybe I'm not
well, you can
on
still
it.
back. I think it's open. The backer.
Maybe
kit's
that's
still open.
why. Maybe but yeah. So so this is a game about dueling wizards from different schools of magic. In this version, not the Rebirth, they have so many different schools. It's amazing. Like, that's easily my favorite part of the game, is that with the extra Kickstarter stuff, you actually can have special abilities based off your school. So you have kind of a specialty where if you're playing a certain character, maybe their school is illusion, so you get better effects if you choose illusion spell, but you are in no way confined to that. You could be like, illusion magic kind of sucks, I think I'll go destruction. And then, or you can just mix and match. There's a ton of different schools in this game, and each card, almost every card, I guess I should say, has a top and bottom effect depending on, how you decide to play them. And on your turn, you basically program in what spells you want to. You have a quick slot that you can cast whenever. So that's kind of your, okay, no matter what happens, I want this to go off. And then you have 3 other slots that you can put in order, and you have to cast them in a certain order. So it's trying to read your opponents on what they might do. So then you can, predictably, like, maybe counter or attack them if they go into a certain room, or just cause a bunch of effects. There's so many cool things that happen in this. Like, if you like the whimsy nature of Wiz War but want a more competitive dueling magic, like dueling sorcerer game, this is definitely it. Like, every school of magic you can think of is pretty much in this game, especially if you have all the extra stuff. Every tile has a special ability. It's modular, so the whole board is always random. But you're going off victory points. That's what's cool, is that you deal damage to other sorcerers, and whenever their HP is hit, whoever has the most damage gets the most points, second most gets second most, and then they clean off their board. Adrenaline style, yeah. The only difference is that you aren't worth less as you die. Like, adrenaline, I think, kind of coined that better, just because it prevents you from getting ganged up on. Like, in this one, you could come out of the gate and immediately start getting attacked again, and you're going to be worth the same amount of points. But I still really like that aspect, that it's just like, okay, this is based on victory points. The Black Rose, which is kind of a timer, is as the game goes on, the Black Rose token will gain victory points, and if no one beats it, then the game wins. It's not semi-cooperative, but it's kind of like, if people aren't doing that well, the game will end at a certain point. This one is just so much fun. It feels so cool whenever you string off combos. Like, definitely is like 3D magic. Take was it Mage Wars, Mage Arena, or whatever it was, and make it a miniature, combo card game. Like, things on all levels for me. Although I will say that I would recommend, if you get this, to go on Board Game Geek, because there are some files where people have kind of like a succinct player aid, because there's not really one in the game. That's pretty invaluable, just because this game is not the easiest to teach, but man, is it just so much fun to play.
I have the base game right here that's on the screen, and then with the Rebirth Kickstarter, game found project, I guess. I went all in on the rebirth and got all that
nice.
stuff. So
Nice.
So I haven't played it yet though. So I guess I need to play it and see if I even like it first. But it
I think
looks really
you would.
cool.
It doesn't have I don't think it has a solo variant though.
The rebirth does.
Oh, okay.
That's the main reason I went in on it, because I saw that it had a cooperative part of it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Was this on? Was it Rebirth on?
Is game found.
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, because the backer kit, I just got an email not too long ago talking about the backer kit or it was an update I got from them or something. Maybe it was Kickstarter. I don't know.
I don't know. There's just so many going on. I can't pay attention anymore. But anyway, that's my number 7, Black Rose Wars.
All right. Well, my number 7 was a game. It was number 4 last year, and it was number 4 the year before. And it was a previous number 1 game for me.
Okay, I did. Sorry, I did get it.
Okay, gotcha. Was it Game Found or Kickstarter?
I don't know. I just went on Backer Kit and found it. So I do have a pledge for it. So
okay. Good deal.
Yay.
All right. So but like I said, this game, my number 7 was number 4 the last 2 years. And then a few years ago it was my number 1 game. And this is one that I showed you, and I think you ended up going and getting everything for it as well. It's a beautiful game on the table, tons of colors and meeples.
Nice.
And it uses that whole Mancala that mechanic, I guess. And that is 5 tribes.
Yeah.
This is still just such an awesome game. You just have to make sure you're ready for a little bit of AP, because this game, you really can't plan your turns ahead of time, just because pretty much the main mechanic of this game is there's gonna be, when you set up the board, there's all these different tiles out there, and you're gonna put a handful of meeples on every tile. So there's mixed colors. And your whole point is you're going to pick up all the meeples from one tile. You're going to drop one off as you follow a row of tiles, or however you want to move orthogonally. And then you have to drop that last tile off on a tile that has another one of that color. And then you get to collect all that color and do whatever the action is, whether it's the blue ones gaining money, the red ones, you get to assassinate a meeple from another however many spaces away, depending on how many meeples you picked up, which could also win you, because if you completely clear a tile, then you get ownership of that tile and you get to place a camel down and you get the victory points on that tile. So there's a lot of different ways you can empty tiles, like the assassin. If you kill the last meeple on a tile, you get that tile, and there's also the set collection stuff with the resource cards that you pick up. The things about this game that are clever, I mean, you have the auction thing for turn order, and turn order is very important in this game, because between rounds, you may see just this juicy ass move that you can pull off that you have to be the first player. But when you wager these points, you're wagering victory points, because 1 coin equals 1 victory point in this game. So if you wager 15 coins, that's 15 end-game victory points you're paying to go first, so you have to kind of make sure it's worthwhile. You can also exchange sets of runs of resources to gain more coins and victory points. That's another way you can gain money. You also can hire jinns or genies.
I think it's summon.
Yeah, to help you, and they have all different abilities, some more powerful than others. And different expansions have been added to help negate a little bit of that and add more different tiles that kind of help stuff. They've done a good job with this. I think this game they're done with this game now. But it's just a great game. It's beautiful on the table with all the palm tree meeples and all that stuff. When you get all that crap on the table, it just looks awesome. and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, this one's really good. I don't remember where it fell on my list. Definitely way higher.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, it actually didn't make my list. It was 102. It was
Close.
just didn't make it. Not that of course that really means anything, but yeah, this game is fantastic. This is actually one of the ones I really like, and I've never won. I've lost every game I've played of this. But it's always close. That's the thing. It's
Right.
like everything you do in this game is rewarding. You're getting something out of it. But yeah, I enjoy it, and the expansions I think are really good as well.
Now, especially the first one that added the purple meeples
Yeah.
and then the mountains and
Mhm.
stuff, because that made it where you couldn't just bounce anywhere you wanted. You had to kind of work around those obstacles as well.
Yeah.
So
Yep. All right. My number 6 fell last year. It was number 2, but the year before that it was number 14. So it's still staying in the top 10. This one fell, which is weird also because I played it quite a bit because I was doing a lot of I was doing one of the campaigns for it, but this is one that is also constantly supported. Like, still, I am seeing no signs of this one ending. I think it might be their longest LCG. Don't quote me on that, but if I just had to guess, this might be it. And this is my favorite Cthulhu game, and that is Arkham Horror, the card game.
yes.
This one would of course be nowhere near this high if I wasn't able to keep up with it. But this one and Marvel Champions are the two that I actually can, and I have pretty sure. No, I don't have everything for this game. I don't have like this, like the Barkham Horror. Like, I don't have like their April Fools, one-off things, but all actual content for it I do have. And this one is so good, like campaign driven, based off each individual story. So we'll just take Dunwich. It's a I want to say a 6 or 8. Sorry, I thought I heard something. It's like a 6 or 8 scenario based off of whatever lore you're in. And so you pick a character, they have a starting deck, and as you go through each scenario, you get XP that you can spend on better versions of cards that are already in your deck, or different versions of cards, because each hero or each player can only have certain types. It's not so open-ended that you completely deck construct, from scratch. But but you still have all that freedom to still make it that character, who they are. But yeah, depending on how well you do in each scenario will pull you in a different direction, like narratively. And uh it's very thematic, very rewarding. I love just the action selections that you get to do, the cool card combos that you can get, the cooperative nature between every player. I only ever play this as a 2-player game, and it says 1 to 2, and I feel like there was a way to play with more, but I have never tried it at all, and don't think I ever will, just because 2 is enough.
Yeah, I do solo with 2 investigators.
Okay.
Is how I play it.
Yeah. It's a beast to figure out how to store. Like, I have 3 wooden artist cases, organizing it all, and I've enhanced this game. Like, I would highly recommend going on Etsy and getting, instead of tokens, or you can do the coin capsules and fill those. But I got like these like beads of the symbols of what you draw from the bag, because that's, instead of randomly rolling a die or anything, how you determine success or failure is based off of pulling a token from a bag, and that's your modifier. Think of the modifier deck from Gloomhaven. Same kind of concept, except this came out earlier. But those are enhanced, and yeah, one box is like literally just for the investigators, and then the other 2 are for the individual campaigns. So Yeah, they're going strong. They just restructured how they release the expansions, which is awesome.
Yes.
It is so much better than what they were doing because, God, it was if you missed a scenario pack, good luck like trying to find it.
Well, and they just put out, or they just announced the Dunwich. They're doing the boxes. They're going back and doing them. The cycles just
Yes.
like that now too.
The new one. Yeah, I was wondering what that was about. Because I was like, is this new stuff? But it's like, no, it's just if you don't have it, which is great because yeah, it's a mess trying to do all that. But I love it. Like every scenario I've done, not every scenario, sorry, every overarching campaign that I've done has been a blast. So if there's one complaint I would have is I wish you could carry people over from campaign to campaign, which you technically can do. Like I did it from the the base core box, the Knight of the Zealot, into Dunwich. And by the last two scenarios, our characters were so physically and mentally traumatized that
Yes.
the beginning of every game was me just drinking whiskey to try and reduce my starting sanity. It's not set up that way. But if you like Cthulhu, this one, and you like card games, then this is definitely the one to get.
Yes, this is a very, very, very good game.
Oh yeah, I showed this one to you as well.
Yep, you did.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, my number 6, we need to have a moment of silence because this game has been my number 1 game the last 2 years.
Oh shit!
It's fallen down to number 6.
God, what the fuck is the point of even talking about it? Anyway, my number 5 is no.
No, this one is still obviously one of my favorite games, but the 5 in front of it, I mean, this one just had to fall, even though
No, yeah, this one makes sense. Like I was surprised it stayed at your number 1 for like last year, because like I understand like the first time playing it, yeah, it's the first time whenever it was on there, I was like, damn, okay. And then Kat and I played this last year, and I mean it's still good, but I was like, man, is it like that good? I understand you really like Altiplano, and that's your new number 1, but
no, I think it's the bag building and being in stuff with this. I like deck building, bag building, stuff like that, and then this one, just all the mechanics that kind of goes in with it together. Placing your workers down on your boards to be able to do different actions, and gathering those resources up on the whatever that board is called, where you're traveling around and picking up resources and
the land board or whatever.
Yeah. This is just one of those that as soon as I played it that very first time with you and Kat, because you showed me this one as well.
Oh, did I? Huh.
but this one just grabbed me, and the art is stupid on the front, but it's just one of those games, it just sings, and
yeah.
And there's a lot of different ways. I know there's arguments about, there being one way to win this game. That I can see that, but you can also try to win it multiple different ways, whether you're going with going with the food and the fisherman model and all that crap, and just doing all this different stuff. And the expansions, barring the half of that one expansion, the trade and intrigue, wonderful, intrigue not. I didn't throw it away like you did, though. I still have that.
Yeah, I literally burned it.
but that adds just that much more, that more complexity. You can and just like in a deck builder where you can get rid of cards out of your deck to make your deck better, you can get rid of stuff out of your bag to go into this trade area to gain benefits. You could do that in the base game as well, but all you were getting was like, oh, I get a coin, or I get this, and now you can actually get stuff with that. So that was that one should have been in the box from the get-go. And then the Invasion big box expansion added that part where I could play this solo, as brutal as that is.
Mhm.
And I haven't done it a whole lot. But pretty much anybody I play this with, really enjoys it.
Yeah, no. So, real quick, you mentioned the fact of getting the citizens, like you can win without it. You can. You are working significantly harder to do so. It's not that you
Yes.
can't. It's just that that's definitely the meta
It is.
of this game. Because when Kat and I did it, I was like, I'm gonna actively avoid. And if you want any amount of points, you have to get some of them. But like I tried to actively avoid the tech track and I won, but barely. And
Right.
like I think if Kat had gone up like maybe 1 or 2 more spots on the technology track, like she would have won. And so that's kind of one of those things whenever it comes to these kinds of games. It's like, man, I don't like meta, I don't like meta in games.
This is one of those games as well that if like a player like me that's played this game a crap ton, if I
Mhm.
sit down to play with somebody new, you're gonna stomp them if you
Yeah.
play it hard. Like this game is the funnest. Like if you and I played this game against each other, we've played this game a bunch. We
Right.
both know how to win, so it would be pretty competitive. I mean, so if you're playing with someone equal skill level, that's what makes this game sing, I think, as well. Just like a lot of Euros, I guess. But
Yeah.
I was looking at my list that I have remaining, and this is the last competitive game on my list. So it still is number one as far as competitive games. So just
Right.
so you know.
Yeah, that's so what's funny is, well, this was my 101. Like this
Yeah.
was my honorable mention of the entire thing. But also, nope, that's not true. Never mind. Never mind. No, this game is definitely very, very good. But if I'm playing against someone who hasn't played this, instead of me playing like normal, that's when I start getting experimental.
Yeah.
Oh, what
Yeah.
happens if I only get wheat? Or something like that.
Yep.
How many points can I? And that's not really fair to them.
Yeah,
So
and I think another thing that helped this drop a little bit, even though it wasn't this game's fault, was playing that god awful stories.
Orleans stories,
It was
like that. God, it sucked. It sucked so hard. Like if anyone came to me and they said that Orleans Stories was better than this, I might kill them.
discredit.
Like I'd probably beat them to death with the Orleans Stories box.
Which you
Like,
could, because it was pretty big.
It was big. It was filled with I mean half of it was components and the other half was the designers just fat shit.
Yeah.
God,
So anyway, my number
ugh.
6, Orleans. So that opens up the floor to a new number 1.
That is true. All right. My number 5 is was number 4 last year and number 9 in 2019. And it was new in 2018, but also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was also number 5. Interesting. So this game has been in my top 10 since I've played it. It is one that I was very sad to hear that you got rid of because I thought you really liked it, but apparently you don't. And which was another game that I also showed you, but it's weird where this is because there's other cooperative games higher on this. I mean, no shocker there, but I still believe this is one of the best cooperative experiences, and that's because every single person and every single decision is important, and that is Spirit Island. So I'm at odds. Like the reason why other co-ops are higher is because they do more than this. But in terms of pure cooperation, I think this one does it the best. Its theme is really cool. You play as spirits on an island. I know you can't really tell by the title that that's what it's about, but it's the opposite. You're not colonizing. Different countries are trying to colonize you, and you're like, hey, get the fuck off. And you don't kill them. You do, but you get them to be afraid, and that's how they leave. But there are so many different spirits that are in this game. All of them play radically different. This game is a very heavy and meticulous game to learn. It's a Euro game really on just trying to figure out the synergies between what your own spirit can do and how that's going to work in conjunction with the other players. And that's the crux of this game, because the two things is you have fast and slow powers, and the fast powers go before the invaders take their turn, but then the invaders do all this awful shit, and then the slow powers go. And typically the slow powers are the really good ones, but you have to work just, and it's not like you're guessing what the spirits can do. It tells you exactly what they're going to do, but they do it in so many different areas that it's very rough to try and stop them, especially early on. But yeah, the synergies between each spirit is just so freaking cool. Like there's one of the very early spirits you can play. I think it's the lightning bird. She has a special power that she can make everyone's spirit powers go at the fast level. And it's like, and just that one action drastically changes what everyone is now. They're like, well, I can do this, but it's very slow, but it'll be good. So if you can do this, and then that person's like, I can make everyone go fast. And it's like, oh my God, okay, every single one of these cards is now even more viable. It's amazing. Like I think every spirit is awesome. The cooperation is phenomenal. The difficulty, I mean, you can just play with a generic country, but then you could give them an actual origin. It could be Sweden or it could be whatever, and you're like, oh, okay. And they have different levels of difficulty. There's a lot to this game, and I love it. I really do. It's so much fun. It is. I can't remember. I heard someone say this was like a lifestyle game. It's not. It just by sheer definition of lifestyle game, it can't be. But I understand kind of his thought process of, if you don't play this every single week, then you have to be like, oh God, okay, how do we do this again? So I think it's worth that effort though.
Yeah, I really like the theme of this game, but I think the reason, I mean, it was a difficult game to play solo. That was another thing, just because I never could get it played. The reason I got rid of it. But the abstractness of the game, I think, was another thing that kind of pulled me out, and which sounds silly, but if there would have been like miniatures for the spirits or something, it's something as simple as that probably would have kept me involved more, you know.
And I think that would actually be ugly, just because you'd have because you need the discs to tell you where your presence is,
right?
And like having miniatures all over the board would just make it very clunky.
No,
this is one of those where I actually think the minimalism enhances the game.
Yeah, and I can see that, and that's why I was saying it's a dumb reason. It's just the abstract board, I think, just to me didn't click for me as well as some other stuff, and that was the only reason. All right. All right, well, my number 5, we don't have to talk about a whole heck of a lot. So this is another one you showed me.
Is your whole top 10 games I've shown you? Can you do that? Can you do your own top 10 games Seth has shown me that I love, which is this list right here?
Let's see. You didn't show me,
except Raiders.
Let's see. Orleans 2. There's a couple. You okay. Anyway, so this one is one you actually just talked about not very long ago. This is my new one to my top 10, new one to my entire list.
Pandemic Legacy?
No. But yeah, so this one, like I said, this is my one brand new to the whole top 100 at all. It jumped all the way up to number 5.
Damn. Okay.
Mainly because I was late to the party with it. I played it with you for the first time, and then I went and I spent hundreds of dollars getting everything for it and sleeving everything for it.
Was it my number 6? Yeah.
I love card games. The FFG card game thing is always my thing, and I always go head over heels into them, especially the cooperative ones, just because you can play them solo, stuff like that. But yeah, like you said, I mean, by the time I get this new set, I'm gonna have to get a third wooden box to get everything stored in and everything. But just so much crap with this game, and it's so well done that I've played so far. I mean, I haven't gotten too deep into it yet. I'm in the
Mhm.
second cycle. I think that's the Carcosa cycle, I believe is the second one that I'm on.
There is the Night of
Um,
the Zealot, which is the core, then
right.
Dunwich is second.
I finished Dunwich, so
Okay,
it's
then
Carcosa, I think, is the
no,
next one. Maybe.
no,
I
yeah, I
can't.
think you're right. It is Path
Yeah.
to Carcosa. Yeah,
But
because the
anyway,
fourth one
that's
is the Forgotten Age, which is the jungle stuff.
okay. But yeah, this one, like you said, I mean, this is I actually like those when they came out with those decks. You know, the very first time I played this with you, I got to be the Asian boxer. and,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and Nathaniel Cho, I think was his name.
yeah.
But it's just funny, like his weapon was a boxing glove. So I'm going out there boxing these fucking huge tentacly
Right.
things. It's like boom, boom, boom.
It's like this demon dog, and you're just like doing the shotgun fist,
Yeah.
like, all right.
Yeah, so it and it's funny stuff like that. And like you said, I have everything for this game except for Barkham as well, just because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pay a fuck ton of money for a
Do
goofy
you have the
expansion.
books?
I have the books for the new boxes because they came spiral bound. But
No. I meant
yeah, I know that you mean the ones that had the cards, the hardback books?
yeah.
No. I didn't get those.
I think I have all of them except one, the one that came with the magician. Can't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
It
I thought
literally
about
just
them just
comes
'cause-
with like an alternative character.
Right. So, but yeah, this one is just, I mean, you can go all in on this. I mean, there's so much for this game. Like I could just sit and play this game all the time and not play anything else for quite some time because
Mhm.
it's awesome. And I upgraded my drawback tokens. They're like etched wood
Nice.
tokens and stuff that I have. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna really say much more. This is an Arkham horror game that I owned a couple of times. Never really played it because I was behind, like on PAX when I got it. And then I finally just decided after playing it to go all in on it and stuff.
Yep.
And this is not my highest ranked Cthulhu game, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh, gotcha.
That's my number 5.
All right. My number 4 also needs a moment of silence because it was also my number 1 for 4 years.
Oh, okay, I know what it is.
It was my number 1. And yeah, and now it's sitting at number 4, which is actually surprising because I didn't even think it would fall to number 4, but it did. And that is Scythe.
Yeah.
So Scythe is a phenomenal game in, I think, in every sense. Like this is one of those rare few that if someone's to be like, why do you love Scythe so much? It's like, I don't know. Like it just works on every level for me. The art is some of the best in gaming. The action selection of just picking a pair of actions, it's not that you're necessarily building an engine, but you slowly get better as the game goes on because of the upgrade system and just which faction you're playing with its own abilities. But and then just trying to race to get your 6 stars out and increase your track to have the higher multiplier. The reason why this fell is when I was making this list, I played Scythe actually a couple times last year and I had a fantastic time. However, when I was doing the top 100, the ranking, what made me choose other games over this was mainly there is no meta, or I don't feel like I'm doing the same thing every time I play it. And while Scythe has those events that are going to be different and what choice you make, at the end of the day, you play 2 hours of what you have done before. And I mean, Scythe is still, perfection in my book. I love everything about it. The 3 games that are above it, I have played in multiple different times and have just never felt like I was doing the same thing.
Right.
So that's really the defining factor of what a lot of games are for me. Like, I don't want to be like, oh yeah, let's play this game. Oh, I'm going to make the same decisions I'm going to make because the game doesn't have a lot to it. And this game does have a lot to it, but as if you played it as much as I have, it's like I've seen it all now. So, but this is still one that if anyone's going to ask me to play it, I will absolutely jump in and have a good time. But when comparing it to the other three above it, yeah, this one just, I mean, the other three just are amazing. So if you're not familiar, Scythe is a Euro game where you play a different faction trying to amass the most money. Money's victory points. So there are objectives everyone is trying to complete and how quickly you can do them because everyone has 6 stars. And each time you meet an objective, you place a star down. So once someone has placed all 6 of their stars, then the game is over. And your popularity is a multiplier for different conditions for how many locations that you have control over for each resource you have. It's like, oh man, my popularity is, 18. So for every 2 resources I still own, it's worth 2 points or whatever. And you compile all the money up, and whoever has the most money wins. So I even have the metal mechs for this game. Like I did shell out the money to get it just because that's sexy as hell. I have every expansion for it. Now, what I need to do is I need to play this with modules from the Rise of Fenris, because once you're done with that campaign, which is an amazing expansion, an amazing campaign, then you can, all this new stuff they added, you can just now add to the game. And I really like that, but I haven't played Scythe where it's just like, oh, let's pick this, and let's pick this. That definitely would give it a lot of freshness. So I wouldn't be entirely surprised. I can't see this one going back to number 1, but I could see it getting higher than 4. So we'll have to see how that goes. But in the meantime, it's at number 4, Scythe.
All right. Well, my number 4 was number 9 last year and was not on my list the year prior. This is probably my most expensive game left from whatever I've had here. And you actually got rid of it not too long ago. And that's probably the giveaway. But yeah, that's
Too
Many Bones.
Nice.
This game, I actually played this game because it's a pretty brain burny game. There's a lot of stuff especially when you're playing the new gear locks and learning them and doing all this and that. But I actually played it so much there for a while I took a break from it just because it was like, but
I was getting burned out when I was playing all the gear locks so we can rank them, and I was like, I am very much over it.
yeah, and it happens. I mean, that's the thing. But this with the new Unbreakable stuff that'll be coming too, that's going to be pretty sweet, I think, with having the different terrain stuff. And
I'm actually going to reorder everything back for it though.
That's good.
So
that's good. Yeah. But yeah, this is just an awesome like RPG experience in an IP world that Chip Theory Games created. This is kind of their first. They started with Hoplomachus and it was so, but like when they came out with Too Many Bones, that's the one that kind of did it for them. This was their kind of their IP that really set them apart from everybody else. And with their whole components of nothing being paper and everything, but you pretty much choose a gear lock or 2. I mean, I would never play with more than 2 gear locks just because it would be kind of weird. But and you choose a tyrant, and then you're going to choose whether you want a long game, medium game, short game or whatever, and you're going to go through doing all these battles. You're going to be leveling up your character, gaining different items and stuff. And that's another, I love the work they put into those items that you can gain, because there's so many different cool little things you can gather. But the complexity of this game is what scares a lot of people away, because each character has like a front and back sheet of explanations of stuff for them, and they're so complex for the most part that you have to really focus on one gear lock and play them multiple times before you can really kind of get a hang of them. Which it seems to be kind of the thing with Chip Theory, because I haven't played Cloudspire a whole lot, but I could see that being the thing with those races.
It's the same thing. Yeah. Too Many Bones gear locks, I think, are more complex than Cloudspire, but Cloudspire is also competitive.
Right.
So that makes it a little bit more difficult, because now it's like if you understand your faction in Cloudspire, it's like, okay, I understand what they do, but now you have to make changes based off what your opponent is doing, so that complicates it.
Yeah. So this one, and the gear locks that they have out right now are completely different.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple that you pretty much need to be a secondary character with. Play with two. When I play this, I never play with just one gear lock. I always play with two, just because of that fact. There's a couple of characters that I like that aren't really good if they're played by themselves.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. That's what I did when I was playing them and ranking them, like, because I have a sheet of what I only played them by themselves, and I was like, this character fucking sucks.
Yes.
And then it's like, oh, wait a minute, it would be amazing if there was literally another person.
Yep. And that's what I found out when my early plays this. That's why I just play with every time now.
I do think their difficulty is really flawed. Like, they're like, this thing's a 4, like, cooperatively, and a 1 solo, and I'm like, that's what?
Yeah.
No, that's not true at all.
I'll tell you that shit, what's her name? The music one. I can't think of her name.
Stanza?
Yeah, that one is a pain in the ass. And I can only imagine because there's these new ones that are coming out. And I think that one will be a little challenging. The time one, or one that messes around with that stuff, might be a little tricky. My favorite one I think I'm looking forward to is Carcass, because when you kill a baddie, you can actually take stuff off their body and create it into weapons or armor or stuff like that. Items. So that's one I'm excited for, because you get to pick the bodies clean and stuff. It'd be kind of neat.
Yeah,
but yeah,
so cool.
This one's just it's a beautiful game. It's expensive game to get everything for it. And I think they're done with all main content except for promos and stuff. They're done with all main content once this Unbreakable gets back. And I'm interested to see if they do anything else with this IP down the road. But I know that the whole Elder Scrolls thing is just going to be fucking. That's got to be a big money maker. I mean, that might be. We were talking about things that could rival Frosthaven.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that rivaling, because Elder Scrolls is such a popular IP, and it's going to be used in the battle system of Too Many Bones.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be it's like Too Many Bones in the Elder Scrolls world, and it's going to be just.
It depends on how much they want to pump of that Elder Scrolls lore into the game.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think they're going with the Elder Scrolls Online, is what they're.
I think so too, which is not as popular. I mean, it is, but it's definitely. I don't know.
So we'll see, but this is going to be badass, for a long time for me.
Mm-hmm.
Bird Cycle is going to be delivered here in about 2 months. We'll see where that falls, but yeah, this is just a wonderful, wonderful game.
Yep. Yeah. So, fun fact on a side note, I sold this and shipped it to a guy through UPS. It arrived to him destroyed completely. The box was so fucked up. Like, the trove chest was destroyed, but the box I shipped it in was so fucked up that pieces were missing of the game. Like, everything was completely. And I was like, I'm like, dude. Well, so he emailed me and he was like, hey, I know I was buying it used, but I didn't think it was that used. I'm like, what kind of world do you think you live in that anyone would ship this? That'd be so fucked up. I'm like, I can guarantee I would not have shipped it like that. Like, so UPS fucked it up. I guarantee you they dropped it and tried to salvage it. So, and that happened with KDM. So I'm just done shipping massive games.
That, because I had that quick story with Massive Darkness. I had all the Massive Darkness stuff from the first Kickstarter. I had all the wooden inserts and everything. Yep. I shipped it. A guy gave me quite a big chunk of money. I sent it out to San Francisco, and it sat in this one warehouse for like 3 or 4 days. And finally got to him, and he was pissed off. He opened up the box, and all there was in it was a big blanket, like a comforter. And the game wasn't in there. And he was blaming me. And you just said a comforter. And I was like, look at that label. It says it weighs 60 pounds. When I said, you think that thing weighs 60 pounds?
Yeah.
So I paid like $100 to ship it and all this stuff.
Right. Yeah. See, because I sold Too Many Bones through eBay, so it made the label. But apparently, and here's the thing, he signed off on it. So whenever he signed off, he basically UPS wasn't liable for it anymore. And I'm like, dude, you could have actively looked at that box, seen it was fucked up, and not signed, and be like, you guys did something. So luckily, he's reasonable. He wasn't mad. Like, I'm just like, dude, here's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna, because he filed like a return off eBay. I'm like, I don't have that money to give back to you. That's just not happening. I'm not going to be out of game, and I'm not going to be out, the money at the same time for something that wasn't my fault. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to do a return. We're going to wait, because after a certain period of time, eBay steps in. And then I'm like, eBay's going to pay for that. And then we're just going to leave it at that. I'm like, fuck it. You can keep the components. I don't care. Just file a replacement through chip theory, and there's your game. But I'm keeping the unbreakable pledge, and I'm just going to buy everything else back. God, just
I know.
don't ship massive games. It's just so, it's not worth it. Just keep it local.
Yep.
Anyway, my number 3 was number 5 last year, so it rose. It rose just a few spots. But this one, as the more I was thinking about it, and even though this was a series or a campaign that I was doing on the channel that I quit doing because playing it solo was actually just a little much. The world, the gameplay, the writing, the decisions, everything is what I love about a game. And that is Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. One, I have everything for it, so I have all those the prequel and the sequels of the whole world that they've done. I 100% believe this is Awakened Realms' best game. Funny enough, 2 of their games are in my top 10. But Etherfields was really cool. I was really hyped up on that when I was playing it, but their wet dream, whatever that they had, the little bullshit missions you did in between the cool dreams was just the worst. So bad, in fact, that they came out and eradicated it from the game, and then they're shitting on their fans. Oh, if you want to play on easy mode, then try this. It's like, no, you just can't admit you made a bad mechanic. But this one doesn't have any of that. It is phenomenal. The writing is easily probably the best that's in any board game. At least it's damn near close. The world is like a Dark Souls, very grim Arthurian legend. You play as like the B team, the apprentices, or the relatives of the previous heroes who went on to go protect the world. And you're like, ah, shit, they didn't come back. As certain characters, you have your own personal quests that you can go on. You can go to certain locations, and it's like, oh, if you're playing this character, then you can do this. Otherwise, nope, can't happen. It does that same seventh continent thing where every card continues the map, but there's actual like dialogue boxes and choices you make in a book for each location. There's so much going on, and the fantastic thing about this is that even though I think there's like 15 chapters in the first core game, I think I got to like 6. I don't fucking remember any of it, honestly. Like, so I'm gonna replay it with a friend, because then it doesn't feel so tedious. Like, because the only tedious part of this game are the menhirs, those bonfire things that you have to keep lighting and keep updating. That's how the map expands. It's very tedious if you're the only one doing it, because you have to go out and find it, and then you have to be like, oh, what do I need? Oh, great, I need food and magic. Okay, I don't have any food, so now I have to go hunt. If someone else is playing, then you can divide that responsibility and see more of what's going on. The deck building aspect is really, really cool. You have 2 decks, your dialogue or your diplomacy deck and your combat deck. The really cool synergy of playing cards is awesome. It actually feels like you're not necessarily telling a story, but like if you're fighting someone, the way you have to play your cards just kind of shows you what you did. Oh, I played Warcry, and then I played Shield, and then I played Heavy Attack, and it's just, and because they're in a line, it's like, oh man, I can envision this combat, I can envision this dialogue. It's fantastic. I love just being engrossed in this, and yeah, like it's no surprise it went up because like whenever I play this, I'm just really involved in this world. So that's my number 3, Tainted Grail.
All right, yeah, I have everything for this as well, but I've only done the like the intro kind of mission or two. I haven't
Yeah.
really done a whole lot with it. I need to play it more.
Yeah, it's just so much fun. Like, I mean, but I also like the grim kind of fantasy, the dark fantasy kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right, good choice. All right, my number 3. I don't know if you've put it on your list yet or what, but surely it's on there somewhere. Anyway, it was number 5 last year. Was not on the list 2 years ago. This is probably the game I've played the most over the last year and a half. And it currently is surrounding me right now on my table. And it is Gloomhaven.
Nice.
This one is one that I had kind of a love-hate with at the beginning. I played it a couple of scenarios and hated the hand management part of it, to the point where I think this made like one of my most disappointing games lists back in the day. And then Jaws of the Lion came out, and with a simple little tutorial, 5 missions at the beginning of it, showed me the elegance of the hand management, which turned this into one of my favorite games, obviously.
Yep.
And I think I've done like 40 some missions so far out of this box. And I'm ready for Frosthaven whenever it decides to show up.
Yeah,
But
I think it's supposed to be this year for sure.
yeah, so we'll see. But this is just a wonderful game, you know, and especially, and if you have this game, I mean, if you spent this much money to get this big game and put all the time into it and stuff, you've got to get the foreteller. App, especially now,
Oh my God, yeah.
with it reading the town events and stuff like that, and everything. It's just, this game, there's a reason that it's as highly ranked as it is. It's so much work put into this, and so much exploration and so much stuff. Now, like we've talked about before, the tiles are a little bland, you
They're
know,
awful. I hate them.
right, and stuff like that. And Frosthaven is going to be more of a wintry vibe. But
we do know it is confirmed that Isaac is making the scenario books.
Yeah, that's where I was going with next. It's because those books are just so nice, because you can make all the art on it and just flip the books open. That was another thing. Jaws of the Lion was so seamless with that, you know, and everything. And I think you'd get a lot more people playing this game all the way through if they had the book, you know, all the tiles and the setup and all that stuff just takes a long time. I have the advantage of being able to just leave it set up down here, so I don't have to put it up all the time.
I see where he's coming from, because he wants, I mean, the Gloomhaven license is like open source, so people have, I mean, free reign to make all their own scenarios, and with the tiles that allows them to do that. So I'm glad he has both. Like, and that's what he said. He's like, oh, well, I mean, people can't do anything if we make the books. It's a hard and fast kind of thing. It's like, okay, well, then, I mean, do the tiles, and then, like he's gonna do, he'll make the book, he'll make the scenario books, and that's perfectly fine with me.
I think the book should come in the box, and then he should make a tile set, because I think more people are going to use. I mean, there is, of all the people that buy this game, I wonder how many are going to be those that create their own scenarios. You know,
it's like, yeah, true.
You know, have it with like what they like Simon does. They have those tile packs you can buy. And stuff.
That's true. But I mean, that the Jaws of the Lion came out after Frosthaven was already done. So I mean, at least he didn't just be like, anyway, that was a one-off for Jaws of the Lion, and it's like, but it's clearly superior. Like, at least he's still making them.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are actually, because he's gonna go on Kickstarter to do minis for and a lot of people are like, why And some are clamoring for chip theory ideas, like, hey, instead of minis, why don't you do poker chips? Like, and then just, and I'm like, that would work just as well, honestly.
I think the
So,
minis are cool. Like I would love to play with them, but I
Yeah.
don't see myself spending all that money on them
yeah,
for a game that once you're done with it is unplayable, not replayable really necessarily unless you
yeah, it is.
unless you get the reset. I mean,
Well, in terms, but I mean, in terms of the campaign, it's not a linear campaign.
yeah, but
Um,
you're getting rid of cards and crap like that too.
Yeah.
It's
this is one like almost any other like fantasy RPG where it's like, yeah, I've seen most of the story beats, but I'm gonna go through it with a different character. Because I've done the Steam version, which I absolutely despise, but I'm in 2 campaigns, actually 3 with Jaws Aligned with You. I have my own solo campaign, then I have another cooperative campaign, and I'm playing a different character in every single one, and it feels so much fun. Even doing this one, it's like, oh man, doing the Black Burrow mission. Okay, well, it's a different puzzle now because I'm playing a completely different character with a different character. So yeah, that's kind of how, yeah, the story's not going to be different every time, but at least it's going to be interesting just depending on how you make decisions.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, yeah, this is my number 3, and like I said, it's going to be up here for a while. And I think really the only thing that's going to be able to oust this from the number 1 game of all time will be Frosthaven.
Right.
For a while.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right, my number 2 is a crossover with yours. Can you guess what it is?
Is it this game?
It is this game, yeah. I have not mentioned Gloomhaven. Yep, Gloomhaven is my number 2. Last year it was number 3, and in 2019 it was number 2. So it's literally just gone boop boop, back and forth. Gloomhaven is without a doubt a masterpiece. Like, people hate on this game because it's popular, and they've never actually played it themselves. Even I had a friend, like, he brought it up the other day. He was like, Gloomhaven's kind of dated, don't you think? And I'm like, no. Like, and I'm like, he was just kind of bitching about certain things. I'm like, that sounds a lot more like the group you're playing with than the game itself. But to be fair, he did mention it's a lot of stuff to keep setting up. And I was like, oh, I don't touch any of the other stuff. I have the Gloomhaven helper app. Like, you think I'm pulling out tokens left and right? Absolutely not. I pull out the standees and I pull out that app. So I can see that it being a lot of stuff, but that Gloomhaven helper app, oh my god, it's so good. This one, it just streamlines it. And then, yeah, like you mentioned, foreteller is for Gloomhaven is easily the best it is for any other game. Like, I've done it for Madara, I've done it for Near and Far. I think that's it, actually, what I have so far. But yeah, they went above and beyond with the soundtracks, the voice, or the sound effects, voice acting. It's so good. But yeah, Gloomhaven is like, just, I love the hand management. I love it is fantasy, and someone's like, oh, it's generic fantasy. I'm like, that's not a issue for me. And it's really not. It is a different type of creatures and different type of world. Legacy light with the map stickers, and that's really it. And then, like, the enhancement stickers, and I found out that the reason why those are so expensive is because those are permanent. Like, it's not, at least when I remember, it's not like, oh, okay, you got to take those enhancement stickers off. It's like, nope, once that card's enhanced, it's enhanced for all future iterations of that character. So, which kind of justifies why it's so expensive to actually enhance your cards. But yeah, like, I love everything about Gloomhaven. Yeah, it has some wonky rules, very more mechanical than thematic. Like, hey, if you want to turn your weapon into, like, this type of attack, you have to exhaust your battle axe. It's like, why did I throw it? Why is it like this? Did it break? So weird things like that, or like how you can't use a magic potion and enhance like a type of magic and then use it immediately, but so someone else has to do it. It's like, why? Or the biggest one, your summons you don't control. When you summon things, they work like, enemies. And I'm like, no, they don't. But all that stuff is easily house ruled. That I really hope Frosthaven is just going to enhance it, because Gloomhaven, a lot of scenarios are just kill all enemies. Okay.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, Frosthaven is not going to be that way. It's going to actually have hopefully creative scenarios, but it's just going to be a bigger game, like with more to do. I already know for a fact he said in between missions in Gloomhaven, there's not a lot to do, but Frosthaven there will be. So yeah, I think this is fantastic. It's taken me, I mean, did you know this came out in 2015?
I believe it.
Like, sorry, not 2015, 2017. It was 5 years ago is how I was thinking of it. But yeah, still 5 years ago, that blew my mind when I was like, oh my God, it's already been 5 years. So yeah. Yep, that's my number 2, Gloomhaven.
All right, good choice. All right, so my number 2 was number 2 last year. So it stayed in the exact same spot. This is my highest Cthulhu game.
Okay.
So
I wasn't sure if this is, I know what your number 1 is then.
And it's going to be Cthulhu Death May Die.
Nice.
This one, I didn't do the Kickstarter campaign, so I don't have the cool big ass Cthulhu, which I probably would have gotten if I would have done this.
Yeah.
But this game didn't really look like much to me when it was on Kickstarter. That's why I didn't jump all over it.
Mm-hmm.
But after playing it, it's just such a cool game. Like you can tell when you have Eric Lang and Rob Davio going in on it and stuff, and it just brings out the cool shit. Like there's so many characters and the mixing of episodes with gods, to be able to create unique scenarios that you play, because you can, if you have this box season 2, and if you have the Unspeakable box, the Kickstarter exclusive box, you have all these episodes you can choose from. I think there's 5 gods out right now. So just do the math on that, because you take one of those 5 gods, pick one of those scenarios, and you go.
Yeah.
And then there's just a shit ton of characters that you can choose from that all are different and stuff. The thing with this game is you're gonna go nuts. That's the whole thing. When you're rolling dice, it's a dice chucker. When you roll dice, anytime the tentacle symbol comes up, your sanity, you have to gain that much or lose that much sanity, I guess, go up on the track. But each time you hit these certain milestones on that track, you get to level up. So the more crazy you get, the stronger you get. And there's that balancing act, because on those milestones, if you're one spot from that milestone, you can take 5 or 6 sanity damage if you want, but you're only going to take that one. It stops at that point. So you have to just kind of, it's a puzzle in that aspect where you're just trying to do that and figure out, because once that track gets to the end, you lose.
Well, your character dies.
Right. And the other thing I like about this, and other games have done this as well, is like movement. When you move through, you don't have to stop when you move into a room with a bad guy. If you move through, they just follow you.
Yeah.
So you have that whole aspect where if you have a guy that just kind of implodes, like he can just take out a bunch of people. If he's, a melee guy with a fistful of dice and then powered up, you can just run through a bunch of places, gather them all, and then just go gangbusters on all of them. And
or if you have like a Molotov, you just run through them and you're like, thanks for following me.
Right,
them all alive.
And the downfall of this game, and you said it because this was on your list not too far back, I don't think.
Yeah, but, it was like number 14.
Yeah. But the tile size was the biggest only drawback. I mean,
Yeah.
I can live with that, obviously, but the other thing I like about this is like I said, it's the puzzle. You have to disrupt the ritual before you can, because there's the timer of the god coming out. And when the god comes out, you can't damage him until the ritual is disrupted. So
Right.
you are in a race to try to get that ritual done so you can defeat him, and then you have to defeat him like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. And his
And
abilities stack.
yeah, and it's a difficult ass game to
Right.
win, but
It's
that's
like,
what
okay,
you like.
first time Cthulhu shows up, you shit yourself. Now his level 2, you throw up, and then the third, you pee. So you're doing a 3, and then you kill
Yeah.
yourself because that's
Yeah.
horrible.
And it's so different. Like, it's such a difficult game because there's that timer. You have to put so many hit points on him, and there's also the timer of your sanity, because anytime you roll the dice, whether it's for anything, if you roll tentacles, your sanity goes up. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, there's a lot to worry about in this game, and I think that tension is what makes it such a good replayable game as well. So
Yep.
my number 2, Cthulhu Death May Die, and they need to do season 3.
God, they need to do something. Like, they need to just fucking, if they're gonna take this long, at least go gangbusters and do just one massive fucking Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Like what they just did with Marvel Zombicide, Cthulhu Death May Die. Like,
Yep.
we'll see. I mean, I think they will at some point, but
Yeah.
all right. My number 1 game of all time in 2021. You have any guess at what it is?
I can't remember if you've said this or not, but if I do have a guess, because you gush about this game constantly, and I can't remember if you've said it all at all or not. Is it Sleeping Gods? There, you want me to flip? Oh, yeah.
Yep. My number 1 new to the list is Sleeping Gods. So there's a theme within my top 10, and this stems from the fact that I grew up my entire life playing video games, and I'm in multiple D&D campaigns. And so I've mentioned this War of Mine, Eldritch Horror, Arkham Horror, Tainted Grail, and Gloomhaven. All of these are campaign or story driven in some way. Hell, even Deep Madness was high on this list, Seventh Continent. So I have a love for like worlds and campaigns and being engrossed in storytelling. And all of those games I mentioned, while fantastic and amazing in their own sense, Sleeping Gods has done the sandbox genre better than all of them. Not that they were trying to be sandboxy. I mean, some of them were just trying to be, true blue RPG games. But some of them have toted to be sandbox style games. And it's like, no, you make decisions, but you still are railroaded. And Sleeping Gods does not have that. It is literally, you can just do the tutorial quick start mission. But after that, you start in this location and bloop, just wherever the fuck you want to go within the confines of that booklet, you are able to go to. You could literally just go south as far as you can and then stop at a spot and just see what that is. You are given so many, this is a massive game. And within those locations, even if you go to the same location, a lot of them have different choices. Like, I can think of multiple off the top of my head in just my one campaign, where if we played the exact same route, which I wouldn't even be able to remember anyway, if we did that, it would have a different outcome because of the choices we made. Above and Below, Near and Far, and Now or Never are all, Near and Far and Above and Below are like leading up to Now or Never. Now or Never is like a combination of those two. But the storytelling aspects of all those games is kind of like, oh, this is what Ryan Lockett was leading up to. Like, I can't imagine the amount of work he went in to make this game as open-ended as it was. And I love it. Now, the one thing that like some other games like Gloomhaven or Tainted Grail do better is those games you are at least more aware of the world that you're in. This one is just kind of whatever. Like, so you're not like very much like I don't know. Like with Sleeping Gods, you just have a bunch of like events and things that are constantly happening that you're making decisions as you keep going. But it's still kind of like your 1920s fantasy world. So that's something I would have liked more, is just kind of an overarching sense of, oh man, we're in Ryan Lockett's world of whatever it's called, Alzahan or whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
But yeah, like every single character having their own uniqueness to them, their different backstories, the fact that they can level up, and then the combat system in Sleeping Gods is just such a fantastic puzzle. It's not just roll dice, it's actual smart decisions on how you utilize attacking the things that you're fighting and what icons you want to cover up, how you're going to sort out damage, who you're going to have attack and what order. It's every time we got into combat, it wasn't one of those folklore situations where I was like, God fucking damn it, really? Like, oh God, okay, how much health does this have? 80, yay. Okay, bullet sponge time. This doesn't have that. I was genuinely excited. Like, if someone's like, oh, we're gonna get into a fight, I was like, oh, like, oh, what are we fighting? Like, I'd be excited because it was a fun puzzle. This game, like, was a 10 out of 10 when we did our initial discussion. It just got better once we finished it, because the other thing about this, I was able to finish this in a reasonable time. Like, I think I uploaded like 15 videos for the series. Each one I clocked roughly about an hour, so about 15 hours of gameplay. And he knew to keep it like that, because you're not going to see everything. You can't see everything because the game does have a finite end. It's not 90 scenarios, or whatever, just trudge along like Seventh Continent or Tainted Grail until you finally find the objective you're going for, and then, oh, we finally finished it 4 hours later. Nope. This one is, yeah, you stop whenever you feel like stopping, but you go through that event deck 3 times and that's your ending. I don't know. Just in terms of sandbox campaign styles, this is easily the best that I've played. And yeah, so this is one that I hope Ryan does more with it. Like, if I do nothing at Gen Con but ask him if he's doing more in Sleeping Gods, then that will be a successful Gen Con. I am hoping he's there, because I just gotta know. I gotta be like, dude, are you doing more games like Sleeping Gods? So, and hopefully he doesn't give me some cryptic shit and actually tells me. But yeah, so that is my number one, Sleeping Gods.
Yeah, this one I have not played yet. I have everything for it. I'm assuming it'll probably be on this list at some point once I start playing it.
Yeah,
So
I would hope so. Like, because I mean, people who have said like they didn't like it, I don't know why. I really have no idea why, but it's everyone that I've played it with or shown it to or told to buy has gushed over it. Like, I got my friend Devin to buy it at last Gen Con because I just kept talking it up. Like, I could have worked for Red Raven. They should have paid me with how much I upsold this game and had him buy it.
Right.
So, and it's accessible. That's the thing, is he's playing it with his girlfriend and her daughter. I think she's like 9 or 10. And it's accessible. It's not like this rules heavy motherfucker like other games are. It's just, yeah, the combat gets a little heavy, and there's 8 characters you kind of have to manage, but the characters aren't so drastically complex. It's not like you're playing with 8 characters of Too Many Bones or something. It's like, yeah, they're a little bit different. Like, they have some benefits. They have a little bit of upgrade cards, but no, it's that world and that sandbox is really just where this game shines.
Yeah. All right.
So, yeah.
Good choice.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. What's my number one?
It would have to be Marvel Champions.
Nope.
Oh, it's not?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, did you already say it?
Yeah, this one, like I said earlier with Arkham, the cooperative LCGs that Fantasy Flight does, or what I go for, this one is easier to get to the table even more than Arkham. Like Arkham is
Mhm.
it's a lot of stuff. This one you just can kind of pick a hero, pick a bad guy, scenario thing and go with it.
Yeah.
They've done so much for this game. As far as content, there's so many heroes, there's so many bad guys now since they're putting out those scenario boxes that add the 5 bad guys per box.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I still haven't even played all of them that are out yet, just because they're coming out pretty frequently. They actually said with the announcement of this last one,
Nova.
was it Nova the last one, or no? It was the other one. There was that girl, the female one that Iron something that I sent the link to the newest.
I thought that was Nova.
No, Nova was first, and there was like the Iron.
Is it Iron Scarlet or something like that?
I
Hold on.
can't remember.
I'll find
But
out.
anyway,
Ironheart.
Ironheart, yeah. So what they said at the very bottom, there was a note at the end of that announcement that said their goal now is going to be to start releasing their hero packs 2 at a time, like same release day, 2 heroes.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. So like, I don't know if it's going to start with Nova and Ironheart or what, but they're going to start doing 2 heroes at one time.
Okay.
Which makes me wonder if they're going to start doing like more, like they should have done with like Wasp and Ant-Man, or Scarlet Witch.
It might be because like the scenario packs have like 2 heroes in one box.
Right.
That might be what they're doing. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but anyway, this one is just, so fun. And I deck build in this game. The pre-builts are fine. They're a great way. I mean, especially
most of them are really good.
Yeah, they are. And that's what makes it cool for this, because a game like this, I think, is more accessible than Arkham, because, if you have the core box and, you have somebody that just wants to buy, they don't like any of these heroes, but they're a huge, Thor fan, and they're going to just buy the Thor pack. They're ready to go. They don't have to buy all this crap and everything. So that was the avenue they took with this game, instead of going full story mode like Arkham. And I think that they both have their advantages. This one, just the accessibility, and Marvel, of course, is gonna make money anyway. But I'm really excited for the new expansion, the Sinister,
with
the
Sinister
Sinister
6
and stuff. Yeah,
what is it? It's
Sinister
Miles
Motives.
Morales and Spider-Gwen.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that one, and this is just one that, you have it too, but I just have the subscription for this and Arkham, and anytime something comes out, I just charge for it and they send it to me. It's just like automatic. Don't even have to question it. And so this one's probably going to sit around here for quite a while, because I'm as everybody that watches these know, I'm kind of the solo guy, and this one is made right perfect for solo. I play 2 heroes. And go for it.
Yeah, no, actually, this is one of the few that I do play solo, because it is so accessible. Like, I don't have to, I can just be like, oh, new hero. Okay. Open the thing, shuffle the cards, and then boom. I'll just be like, okay, who is this? This is Nebula. Or who was it last? Oh, it was Valkyrie. Oh, okay, I'll fight Ultron. Why not? And just see, oh, this is War Machine. Oh, let's have him fight. Fucking I don't know.
Yeah. But here at some point, we're gonna have to come out with a new hero list, because they're starting to they're coming out so damn fast. We have I don't know how many we have.
Yeah, I'll have to.
I think the last one, I can't even remember what the newest one was when we did the last list. But
the newest one was Valkyrie.
When we did the last list.
Oh, Gamora.
Yeah, that sounds probably right.
It might be Gamora.
Scarlet Witch
was up there.
Yeah, I can't remember, but anyway, there's been a lot come out since then. So
yeah, because I know for a fact we had Groot and Rocket on that list.
Yeah.
So yeah, we would have to we'd have to look back and because they have released a lot. Because I don't think Star-Lord was available.
Right.
I'd have to look at the list of heroes that were on that last top 10, that ranking.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So like I said, this one went from 3 last year to number 1 this year. So
Nice.
and I don't see it necessarily changing anytime soon. So
Nice. Yeah, good game. Good game. Good choice. All right. So that was it, everyone. That was our top 10 and top 100 games of all time from 2021 into 2022. Here's hoping for another fantastic year of gaming. Hopefully everyone, stays safe with all the shit that's going on. And here's hoping that, games can keep everyone happy and distracted. But that's it. And until the next top 100 later on in 2022. But other than that, let us know what you think of these games in the comments below. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.
Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.